Hi, everybody. I'm Bryan Mudd, a fan of South Plains politics. Here's your talking points for this week. Shocking news this week about the death of former Lubbock City Councilman and future County Judge David Nelson. We'll have a look back at his life and work.
I'm Anna Warnicki in Washington. A Texas congressman is introducing a bill in honor of his classmate, a veteran who took his own life. I'll have that story coming up.
From the studios of KMAC Television in Lubbock, your local election headquarters. This is Talking Points with Bryan Mudd, brought to you by Capital Mortgage Services.
Thanks for joining us, everybody. Also this week, putting your money where your mouth is. Hey, it was nice when the governor and lieutenant governor made teachers' salaries a priority during the special session. Dan Patrick even tried to make it mandatory that school districts pay teachers more. But he didn't provide state money to do that, and in a time when everyone's budgets are tight, Patrick's plan never made it to the governor's desk. Patrick has brought it up again as a possibility for the next legislative session, but that's in January. Kids will be back to school in a month, and teachers are getting their classrooms ready now, often out of their own pockets. KMAC's Wes Rappaport has more.
I'm excited, kind of nervous.
New teacher Victoria Albee and her mom are getting ready to set up their classrooms.
I'm starting my 7th year, so I've learned a lot about how to set up my classroom and things to think about and tools that you need.
A lot of those supplies paid for out of pocket. That's why local shops are trying to meet the need too.
Try to create and have on-hand products that have several uses, multiple uses.
Now, teacher salaries getting attention in the race for lieutenant governor.
Teachers are the most important part of a quality education.
Republican incumbent Dan Patrick says liberals blocked his plan to give teachers more money. Democrat Mike Collier says the problem is property taxes, and fixing that will give money back to teachers.
But the hard part is to get more money into the system without raising homeowner taxes, because they're too high, without raising small business taxes. And the solution is to get the big corporations, and that's what we're talking about here, Wes, to pay their fair share of taxes.
Next session, I will fight to make sure our budget targets more money directly to teachers.
Albee says she is willing to make sacrifices for the future of her students.
It's hard, but I mean, you are passionate about what you're doing rather than what you're getting. I mean, you'd be in a different field if you wanted to make more money.
In Austin, Wes Rappaport, KMAC News.
Wes, thank you. Dr. Michelle McCord is superintendent of Friendship Schools. Good to see you. Hiring a lot of young teachers these days who are going through this process for the first time, are there a lot of those now in Friendship ISD anywhere?
Well, we are anticipating about 25 brand new teachers. So teachers just out of their training and going to be first-year teachers.
How much do you have to watch what other school districts are paying and what other states may be paying, just to try to make sure that you're competitive and you keep talented teachers in your school district?
We pay very close attention to that, particularly with the neighboring school districts. Regardless of the size of the school district, we want to make sure that we're competitive, paying attention and collaborating with Keith Bryant at Lubbock Cooper School District and Dr. Kathy Rollo at Lubbock ISD to make sure we're kind of along the same lines. But yes, trying to stay competitive, because teachers, we could never pay them what they're worth.
No.
Because they're priceless.
Exactly. You know, salaries were brought up a lot during the last legislative session. We mentioned it earlier a little bit. But no one was bringing up how to provide extra state money to pay for all of that. If it came down tomorrow for whatever reason that it was mandatory, could you absorb a $1,000 per teacher raise in your current budget if it happened to be mandated like that?
Well, you know, budgets are, in school districts it's a very complex issue, because it's not just you get this big, you know, pot of money that you know exactly how much you're going to get. It's very much a moving target. And so you project a budget like a lot of businesses do, but you don't know exactly how much you're going to get. You get an amount of money per student, but then in a fast-growth school district, you don't know how many students you're going to get. And then on top of that, you don't know how many days they're going to come to school, because we're paid on attendance, not necessarily enrollment. So it's a moving target, but one of the things that I can say is that we're always sharpening our pencils and trying to find ways to pay our teachers the most. One of the other things that we've done in Friendship that it is a moving target, like I mentioned, so we're already projecting a budget for the next school year. One of the things we've been thankful to be able to do is if we see we're getting to the end of the year and we have some money left, we give our teachers a one-time lump sum payment. For some reason, we're not allowed to call it a bonus, but I'm not really sure why, so it's not a bonus.
Yeah, not a bonus at all.
But this past year, we were able to give $500 when teachers came back, and they're having to buy school supplies for their own children and pay for immunizations, and then we gave $500 again in May.
Nice, very nice. You know, obviously security and safety have been big topics these days for good reasons. You guys have been doing a lot of construction, new school buildings over there. Are they designed with safety in mind, those new buildings?
They are. We do have lots of new buildings, and so they do have controlled entrances. So they have that security vestibule where you have to, you can walk into a vestibule or a foyer, kind of, but then you have to buzz in to gain entrance into the office. And then after that, so everyone is funneled through the office and has to check in with we call it the Raptor system. So every person who comes in, if they gain entry into the office area where the secretary sits, then we're going to check your driver's license or your state ID to make sure that you're not a sex offender or something along those lines. We have lots and lots and lots of cameras. Now, you're not allowed to have cameras in classrooms except for some special circumstances with special education, but anywhere where there's no reasonable expectation of privacy, we have cameras. So that I wouldn't say we surveil everything, so we don't necessarily have a team of people sitting there, you know, watching the cameras, but we do know where the hot spots are, and also if we feel like there may have been something going on, then we can review the cameras and see what's happening.
They're on top of everything. Dr. Michelle McCord, about to start a new year and a new group of kids and a lot of fun over Friendship ISD. Good to see you again.
Thank you.
All right, let's talk about this week's poll question, folks. Do you feel like the security at your child's school is adequate or inadequate? Talk to us on our KMAC News Facebook page and on everythinglubbock.com. Got to click on Talking Points when you get there, and you can give us your opinion, and we'll talk about that over on next week's show. Coming up, new look inside the city's expensive Citizens Tower project, and word of a new bill from Lubbock's congressman to help our veterans smoothly return to civilian life. Hey, they've been doing that at Texas Tech for a while. 5 good minutes with a closer look at their student veterans program. Next on Talking Points.